Acknowledging we operate our services on the unceded ancestral territories of the Heiltsuk, Wicanu, and Nuxalk people, as well as the Kitasoo, Hehes, and Algacho nations. We honor our relationship with these nations. This meeting is being recorded, and the recording will be made publicly available on our website. The meeting is called to order at 10:02 a.m. on August 7th, 2026. We're all present today. We have Director Steve Emery representing Area A, Director Travis Hall representing Area B, myself, Jamie Kennedy representing Area C, Director Lawrence Northeast representing Area D, and Director Leslie Harstead representing Area E. Thanks for being here, everybody. Before we proceed, for clarity, just for clarity's sake, the meeting that was scheduled for yesterday did not take place, because we didn't have quorum, but today's meeting is a new special board meeting, so we will not be doing the public hearing today, but we will be scheduling the public hearing today. It's item 11.2 on our agenda. So first off is the adoption of the agenda. Any amendments, comments? No. If not, I am looking for a mover for the move by Director Northeast and a seconder. Seconded by Director Emery. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Great. I don't think we have minutes to. We don't have minutes to approve, do we? No. No, I don't think
that's
so.
correct, Chair Kennedy.
Okay.
No minutes.
Okay, perfect. Just check in. Because it's a special meeting, we won't do like reports unless anyone wants to do an executive report. If there's anything that anybody wants to. No. All good.
There's some Connect players here.
Are there? What are they up to?
They're just here for some cultural sharing events and some youth, encouraging youth to be athletes and stuff like this. You know how they speak their athletic lingo? No.
Oh.
They're just here to encourage people. Yeah, it's really nice. It's a good turnout, and they had they were cooking up some burgers for everybody the other day. But not really the update, but you know, it's kind of cool to have them here.
Oh yeah, that's super cool. That's awesome. Thank you very much. Anybody else with any updates? If not, we will move right along to emergency emergency management. So the first decision item is the Martin Valley Landslide Risk Assessment Contract Authorization. Does anyone have any questions or comments or about that report? If we don't need a summary or anything, then I'm looking for the resolution that the board authorized staff to award and execute the contract for Martin Valley Landslide Risk Assessment with the highest ranked compliant proponent identified through the request for proposals evaluation process with the previously approved project budget of $124,000. Moved by Director Emery and a seconder.
A second.
Seconded by Director Hall. Thank you very much. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Okay, now this one, the request for decision on the Regional 911 Emergency Call Service Establishment Bylaw 566, 2026. So the AAP results and next steps. So I may pass it over to Mr. Prime, perhaps, to just kind of give us a kind of where we are now kind of summary, if that's okay, Mr. Prime.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Chair Kennedy. So about halfway through the AAP process, as I was sitting, having been onboarding and reviewing the current AAP process, it did come to my attention that without the maximum requisition that was needed in the bylaw, then an AAP process technically wasn't a legally available option. And this was a bit of an oversight and some last minute changes that had sort of happened in the bylaw that created that oversight. So ostensibly, I still had to certify the results. That is a requirement as soon as the AAP is complete. So I did certify the results. The results really are just looking at the forms we did receive, which ones were compliant, which ones weren't. Those have no legal basis at this point in time, because the AAP process wasn't valid. So we're really looking to what the next steps are. And I apologize, I'm really sick, so I might start coughing at any second. I do apologize. Curtis, would you be able to take over for a second?
Absolutely. So with that, it does give a good sense of a broad understanding of the forms that were submitted and testing the community in regards to doing a public process. So public process occurred, and it gives the board a good understanding of the appetite of the public in regards to a new service. The options available to the board in regards to putting this service and validating the service and moving this service forward, should the board desire to move the service forward, would be you can do electoral area director consent. So that is basically the electoral area director's consent, and the service moves forward and becomes adopted, and that is allowed. There are carve outs for that in the legislation, as the province has lowered the bar for emergency communication services, as they clearly view that it is a benefit to communities. Second available option would be an AAP that sets what the process we attempted to go through. And then the other option is assent voting, which is a referendum on the subject. The board has those options. They retain those options to go through. And then that is a decision that the board will need to make today in regards to what option, should they desire to move it forward. Staff have reviewed the amount of forms that were received. We received 429 forms. Mr. Prime, you seem to, are you, how you doing?
Yes, better, thank you, sorry.
Do you maybe want to walk through a bit of the AAP, shall we say the results a bit? And then
yes.
That will kind of at least get us to the staff recommendation, but as those options are the boards to decide as they see fit.
And while they have, it doesn't have a legal footing, receiving 429 forms obviously still shows considerable public interest in this process. There, approximately 204 had to be, weren't counted towards the final count, primarily because of addressing problems. Many people only put a PO box number down in the address field. And that you're not able to certify the result in that sense because you have no idea where that person actually physically resides in that scenario. And so that was a large portion. And there were some other minor issues as well in terms of whether they didn't include the community in their address. So saying 1550 Highway 20, that may be Bella Coola, that may be Williams Lake, because they're actually, that address would be applicable in both places. So the community was, many of those forms, that was an issue as well. The PO box is the primary one, the community, and then some forms were done on altered copies that weren't the original, and there was a significant number of those as well, unfortunately. All of that being said, the process, notwithstanding, that's why we got to the number I did for the certification results. But the board can broadly look at 429 as the level of support as they see fit. Moving forwards, we do have a long series of resolutions and recommendations here to kind of move on to the next steps. But ultimately, it's up to the board's discussion here in terms of which direction they'd like to kind of start on that process.
Okay, thank you. Questions for Mr. Prime from the board? Director Northeast, go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Prime, I'm not sure if I'm understand. Okay, let's start with what I understand. What I understand is that the threshold was not met to to say no to the 911 service. But what I hear you saying is that even though that is the case, we still have a very strong indication of how many people in the valley feel. I've got that right. Is that's essentially a summary, right?
Director Northeast through the chair, absolutely, that is correct. This is the numbers at this stage are just being used as, you might call it, a general feedback survey at this point. It doesn't have a legal process, but it provides an indication to the board as to the level of community feedback.
Okay, thank you. All right. So what I'm not clear on is, and then it's sort of waving a little red flag in the back of my head, is you use the word oversight with regards to this process. Can you tell us exactly what you mean by oversight and what is the outcome of that oversight?
Yes, thank you, Director Northeast through the chair. The oversight was in removing the maximum requisition from the final bylaw that went forward for third readings. It was in the original drafts of the bylaw, and with the maximum requisition in the original drafts, the alternative approval process was selected. At some stage, and this is before I arrived, the maximum requisition was taken out, and I believe it was to simplify the bylaw and the process going there. However, after that maximum requisition was taken out, the AAP process was technically no longer valid. That was the oversight that was missed.
Okay, thank you. I understand.
Other questions or comments? Director Harstead, go ahead.
Hi, thank you, Chair Kennedy. I was wondering, so we're looking at a new bylaw today that's for 566, but do we still, was it just for the AAP process that we needed the maximum requisition as part of the bylaw? Or do we still need it?
To Director Hairstead through the chair, that's correct. We do not require the maximum requisition because this is a specific carve out in the Local Government Act for emergency communications systems. So there is still no required maximum requisition.
Okay, thank you.
And if I may, through the chair, it is that little nuance piece that was the hiccup, is that you don't require it unless you do this one thing, then you do require it. So that is where the foundation of the error.
Right. So yeah, I feel that although, you know, with the challenges that we face, like, I think we can look at this as the community has, you know, said, like, spoken, and whether forms are valid or not, I think the intention is clear that we have, you know, 420 folks who yeah, have submitted their forms, and I think we should, you know, take it as that. And you know, we have some resolutions here, kind of as suggested, that we, you know, go to referendum instead and let the people decide if this is a service that they want. We have the election coming up, so, you know, it won't be too resource intense. And yeah, unless there's other questions, I suggest that we proceed in that direction. All right, so so I'm going to start going through the resolutions so that we can move in that direction. But if any other board members have any comments, questions, please feel free to jump in. So the first motion is to receive the information. So the motion is that the corporate officer's statement respecting the alternative approval process conducted for Regional 911 Emergency Call Service Establishment Bylaw number 566/2026 be received for information. Can I get a mover on that one?
I can move that.
Moved by Director Northeast, and a seconder?
I'll second it.
Oh, seconded by Director Hall. Thank you very much. Further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? The next motion is that the board acknowledge that the alternative approval process conducted in relation to the Regional 911 Emergency Call Service Establishment Bylaw number 566, 2026 cannot provide valid participating area approval for the bylaw as presently drafted, and that the alternate approval process and the elector response forms received be not relied upon as participating area approval for bylaw 566, and that the direction in resolution number 2026-065 to obtain participating area approval through an alternative approval process be abandoned and replaced with the approval method selected by the board, and that administration be directed to prepare and issue public communications consistent with the board's decision regarding the alternative approval process and the next steps for bylaw 566. Moved by Director Emery, and a seconder.
I'll second.
Seconded by Director Hall. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
The third one is that third reading of Regional 911 Emergency Call Service Establishment Bylaw number 566, 2026 be rescinded, and that bylaw number 566 be amended by deleting the recital stating that approval of the electors was obtained through an alternative approval process, and replacing it with the following. And whereas participating area approval is required under Section 342 of the Local Government Act before adoption of this bylaw, and that bylaw 566 be further amended by deleting approval of the electors received this August 7th, 7th day of August 2026 from the signature, and from the signature and approval block, and replacing it with participating area approval obtained this 7th day of August 2026. And holy, you guys are making me work hard. And that Regional 911 Emergency Call Service Establishment Bylaw 566, 2026, as amended, be read a third time. And that bylaw 566, as amended at third reading, be submitted to the Inspector of Municipalities for approval.
Sir, my speaker cut out. Can you repeat that?
Oh, that's a mouthful, that's for sure. Director Harsted, do you have a question, or are you moving?
Yes, sorry, a question. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not 100% clear on what that last section means. I'm just wondering if our CIO or our corporate officer can sort of tell us in a nutshell what that last part meant, that last section.
I think that's a great idea. If we could just, in layman's terms, what that motion is saying, basically.
Absolutely. Director Hairsted through the chair. So the last section, are we in respect to the Inspector of Municipalities, or broadly, would we like to go through the whole thing? I'll go through the whole
Let's go through the motion.
Yes, absolutely. So we're rescinding the third reading of the last bylaw, third reading. So that's just letting us start off from a clean state, because to amend a bylaw, you need to amend it. The last time you can amend it is at third reading. So we're kind of undoing the third reading and making some amendments. And some of these are minor changes in wording because the previous bylaw specifically called out an alternative approval process. So for the bylaw to be valid, we need to kind of clean up those mentions if we're going through a different process going forward. So just a little bit of tidying up along that way. Then we get to reread it a third time because now we've made some changes, and that's all well and good. And then after that third reading, we get to send it back to the province for their stamp, which, as we found out, isn't super helpful.
Thank you. Director Harsted?
Yeah, I just had one question about that. Shouldn't it also mention, though, that we're using a referendum process, like in that bylaw?
Director Harrison, through the chair. So that is the participating area approval. And so there's some more resolutions coming up down the road that will guide us to how we're getting to that participation area approval. This is a broader term that would encompass a couple different methods, but we'll have the resolution on how we'll get there further on.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect. Any other questions? Looking for a motion to approve for this resolution. Moved by Director Hall, seconded by Director Northeast. Further discussion? All in favor? Great. All right. Part 4. That participating area approval for Regional 911 Emergency Call Service Establishment Bylaw number 566, 2026 be obtained by assent of the electors under sections 342 2A and 344 of the Local Government Act. Is that a question or moving the recommended motion? Moved by Director Harstead, seconded by Director Hall. Further discussion? All in favor? Great, thank you, thank you. And that Carrie Lohr be appointed as Chief Election Officer for assent vote in relation to Regional 911 Emergency Call Service Establishment Bylaw 566, 2026. Mr. Prime, go ahead.
Sorry. Yes, through the chair.
Oh,
would you like to
to
just have this one? There's quite a bit more to this one. Can we just put this one on screen so you're not forced to read this very lengthy?
Oh, that would be great. Thank you. Sorry, you guys. I forgot to flip my page.
This one's quite long.
Quite lengthy.
Yeah. Let me just share my screen here.
Yeah, and it's important too. Now that I'm like, oh yeah, this is really important for how we're moving forward. As far as, yeah.
Is everyone able to see that? All right.
Yes.
Can you zoom in a bit?
Yes, let me try and
Little
take
more.
this up.
Oh yeah, that's. Thank you.
Perfect. So if everyone would like to read that, or I can take a stab at reading it out, or
it's up to the board if we want it, read aloud. Or we could just read it. Any preference from the board? Is everyone is able to read it okay?
Sure.
Mhm.
Okay, so we will just
Sorry, is there anything else below that and that the expenditures? Okay.
so just looking at the third to last part of the motion there, that administration be directed to prepare and distribute a public information brochure to all deliverable mailing addresses. So that will be, more about like when because there was a lot of information that kind of went around that wasn't quite accurate as far as like that we were hiring staff for this, that this was going to, this will give more opportunity to kind of give costs and tax implications. I think that, there's some other questions that, folks might have, and that will give us a little more time so that people can, make up their own minds. I saw a lot of really misleading information. So that is helpful. Director Hall, I see your hand there. Go ahead.
I just wanted to also clarify what happened with regards to just including your mailbox, or sorry, your post office box, and not your street address. Then maybe there should be clarification in the in the information that's being sent out to clarify that they should probably include both. I know that we have issues with that on the reserve. We've had that issue for eons, considering the streets were not even registered until 1996 or something like that, right? So yeah, we need clarification just because a lot of people in the areas, all of the areas, mainly rely on the post office box system. It's kind of been forced onto us. Yeah, thanks.
So for this one, it will be, yeah, going to a referendum. So it'll be like kind of on the ballot. So it will, we won't have to worry as much about people making sure that they fill in the forms correctly. As far as I know, Mr. Slingerland,
Yes,
correct me if I'm
as
wrong.
long as we have both sent out.
Through the chair, that is accurate. This Director Hall does bring up a very good point, and I think that there's definitely some really key takeaways for staff about creating really good information material to set people up for success. A lot of volunteers and a lot of people put in a lot of good time to go out and advocate for their side of things. So supporting either side of a political initiative to make sure that there's good information so people can navigate forums and things and support them is definitely a takeaway that we're taking to heart, and it's something we're looking at and how we structure information for an asset vote. Chair Kennedy is completely correct. They come in, it's on the ballot, they go through that process of registering to vote, and then they get given that additional ballot. So that would be a bit of a moot point when they go into their local polling station.
Yeah, I went in to vote for the province, and it took me 45 minutes because they couldn't find my street address. This road is either called Cannery Road or it was called McLaughlin Bay Road. So when I went to vote, my thing said Cannery Road, and they had no knowledge of the road even existing. So just I don't know if that happens to anyone else, but yeah, it needs clarification across the board. And maybe this is another thing that this 911 process is going to address too. So who knows? Thanks.
Thank you, Director Hall. Director Harstead?
Hi, thank you, Chair. Yeah, that part that was highlighted about sending out something to all the mailing addresses, I applaud that, and that's great. I'm just wondering, I'm not sure when the next newsletter comes out, but perhaps it could also be in the CCRD newsletter, if possible.
Through the chair, we're currently preparing the next CCRD newsletter, and once we have direction from the board, we can put in a bit more information. We have a bit of a section of our website already set up, so we can definitely link some information. It won't the space. We don't have a ton of space, so that's where sending out a full information brochure that's separate would have value. But absolutely, we can include a section in the brochure.
Great, thanks.
Any other questions or comments about this resolution? Okay, there we go. So I am looking for someone to move the recommended resolution.
I'll move.
Moved by Director Hall, seconded by Director Northeast. Further discussion?
Question.
All in favor?
Right.
Great. Thank you very much. And thank you, Mr. Prime, as well, and Mr. Slingerland too, for for going through the process with us, and for the information and breaking it down into six motions so that it can be clear what the next steps are as we move forward. So that's great. So next on our agenda is rescheduling the public yes, sorry, did I miss something again?
There's
sorry.
one more. There's one more resolution. It was kept separate. I know it isn't. Yeah, my apologies.
No. I am. I don't mean to be pushing us along here. Sorry. I'm. Yes. So the next motion is that pursuant to section 342(4) of the Local Government Act, participating area approval for regional 911 emergency call service establishment bylaw number 566/2026 be obtained for the entire proposed service area comprising electoral areas A, B, C, D, and E as a single voting area. So just for clarity, that's like now when we go to referendum, what is, it's like the whole region votes, and is it 50% or what is the number for that?
That's 50%.
Through the chair, yes, it's the whole region as it's one service, the whole region. It's all counted as one region, and we would need if the service were to be successful, then it would need it would need the 50% plus one. It would need to be a positive vote. If it is a negative vote, then the service would that would put an end to the service.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Any questions about that resolution from the board? Okay, so I'm looking for that motion. Moved by Director Northeast and a seconder.
I'll second.
Seconded by Director Hall. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Okay. Now, I think we're safe to move forward. Okay. Thank you very much, you guys. Thanks to everybody. So the next item is the rescheduling and delegation of the public hearing for Bella Coola Valley Official Community Plan Bylaw 565 2026. So as we know, the public hearing did not proceed because we did not have quorum at the associated special board meeting. So the decision is for a new hearing date, and we have to give notice for that to the public so that people can accommodate that in their schedules if they would like to speak at the public hearing. So we have a potential time of Friday, August 14th at 9 a.m. So what is that next Friday? I'm just looking at my calendar. Director Hall, go ahead.
Yeah, I can't make that if it's at that time. I have the AVICC executive.
Okay. I'm hoping to travel that day. I'm wondering if we could do the 13th or if that's, Director or Mr. Slingerland, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No worries. If you look at the resolution, the board can delegate who does the public hearing. And so you don't have to all attend if you don't want to. You can assign somebody to lead and manage the public hearing. So the board should have a dialogue whether you want to do it all together or whether you want to delegate that, and at which point one individual can attend, oversees the public hearing, and reports back to the board on the public hearing with applicable package and documents. So that might make scheduling a bit easier, as it just makes things, it's up to the board. The board can all decide to do it, or you can delegate it to an individual to do, and that might make things easier.
Okay, Director Harstead?
Yes, thank you, Chair. I was just wondering, is it a 2-week notice that is necessary? Because if that's the case, next week is only 1 week. So I'm just point of clarity.
Yeah, I was just asking about that too. How much notice does the public need or is required from this process?
I might, direct
Sorry,
that at
through
Mr. Prime, sorry.
Yeah, through the chair, it's only 3 days of notice that's actually required in this scenario, and no more than 10 business days, I believe. But I will double check that. I don't have the LGA right in front of me right now.
Okay. So for me, I was potentially planning to travel on the 14th. So I'm wondering if we could do the 13th, if that would work for staff or and directors. And I am happy to do it. I feel like if we are delegating it, I'm happy if it to be delegated to, or if we delegated to Valley directors, or if all directors wanted to be present for the public hearing. But I guess first we should decide on a date. I have the suggested one I have is the 14th, but I would prefer if it was the
Yeah.
13th or but I think Mr. Slingland, you're not available. You're away then. So what about could we do the following Monday? Or I could.
Don't worry about me. Do what
Okay.
works best for you. We will figure it out. I just want to put that out there. I'm not I'm not critical to this process. So,
Okay.
and I
Okay.
will make time.
What is the length of time of this?
It's anyone who would like to speak gets 5 minutes, and so we could just go through as many speakers. So it could be very short, or it could be quite lengthy. And if we run out of time, then we would schedule it to finish like the following day. So it's
Okay.
as long as it needs to be, I guess, is my answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I say
Yeah.
the 13th. 13th
The
works,
13th?
and then I'll get two work days out of the way. At the same
Okay.
2 days, not spread apart.
Okay. Is there an appetite to delegate it? Or I guess if we all decide and on the date, then we could do the board. It's up to everybody. If everybody wants to be present, I think that's totally okay as well.
It would still be, sorry, through the chair, it would still be convenient to delegate just in case a quorum issue
Okay.
arrives again.
Okay. Okay.
And it doesn't have so much to do with us on the outer coast.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair. Okay, so would it make sense to just delegate it to me, and then everybody who's able to attend attends? Yeah. Okay.
I'll make that motion that Jamie is delegated.
Okay. Okay, so if we say that the public hearing for Coola Valley Official Community Plan Bylaw number 565, 2026 be rescheduled to Thursday, August 13th at 9 a.m. and that holding the public hearing be delegated to Chair Jamie Kennedy, and that administration be directed to provide fresh notice to the public hearing and make the delegation resolution available for public inspection in accordance with applicable legislative requirements. Director Northeast?
I'm not seconding, I'm just making a suggestion. It's probably completely out of order, but I was going to recommend a co-delegation of yourself and Director Harstad.
Okay. Oh, she says no.
It's good practice. Okay, that's fine. I would draw my.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's fine. I have no
Okay.
experience with this, but yes.
Okay.
I did neither the first time I did it, so
I haven't done a public hearing yet either in my 8 years.
Oh, you haven't?
Not
okay.
one where anyone came. Like, I think I did one, but there wasn't any opposition, so nobody spoke. But I did the the process. I can't remember. Anyways, yeah. So yeah, this will be my first kind of real one. Yeah. Okay, so we would change the resolution to delegated to Chair Kennedy and Director Harstad.
I think she said no. I think she declined.
Did she?
Did you?
I
No, I can do it. Yes.
Awesome.
I may
Okay.
not be in the valley, but yeah, I'll try to make it work.
Okay. So, but yeah, for clarification, everybody can attend. It's just that if
Right.
there is an issue, then we only need one person. But we only need me, and we wouldn't have a struggle with quorum in that situation. So, just for clarity. But all good. We can we could go through. Oh, but Mr.
So
Prime, did you have something?
Sorry, just for clarity, through the chair, are we including Director Hairstead in the resolution? Because if you're both delegated, then you both will absolutely have to be there.
Oh,
Oh, yeah,
If I
perhaps
may, it
just
might be
delegate.
best.
Oh, go ahead.
No, it's just, I think you and I are saying the same thing. I'm going to get out of your way.
Okay. I was just going to say, yes, it might be best just to delegate Chair Kennedy then. And yeah, I'll do my best to be there.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll keep the resolution as the original resolution that the public hearing be delegated to me, and that notice be made of the public hearing on the 13th of August. I'm looking for a mover. Moved by Director Harstead and a seconded by Director Northeast. Thank you very much. Okay, great. So the 13th, I'm putting it in my calendar.
Ouch.
Give me one moment. Just a moment. And boom.
Through the chair, we just need to
Yes.
call the question on that.
Oh, all in favor.
Ta-da.
Steve, you made that face out loud. It's like, how long have we been doing this? Okay, all in favor? Yes, we got everybody. That's great. Good. Thank you, everybody. Now I'm going to put it in my calendar before I forget. Save. And okay, so next we have the general correspondence. So we have a request for a letter of support, and then we have a suggested letter of support there. So do we need a motion to, or would anyone like to speak to the correspondence? I guess I should ask first.
I can give an over through the chair. I can give an overview. Yeah,
Sure.
so City West reached out just to say that they are they're putting in a grant to expand internet and fiber to Furvale, Stewie, and Anaheim Lake, and tie in the other areas of the valley, some of the other areas of the valley that were underserved in the last expansion. So they are seeking a letter of support for that application. Their application is going in at the early of September, so there's some challenges around deadline. It still can be submitted afterwards, but due to some of that, the gap that we're going to be facing between board meetings, I threw this on the special agenda.
Director Harstead?
Thank you, Chair. I'm just wondering if you're aware that the Slump Valley is included in this new grant, because they are not served by that, by City West right now.
Okay. So if we were to include the suggested letter that is the draft letter of support, then maybe we could add that? Or should we have a separate motion to write to City West to ask them to include it, or how do we want to go forward with that?
If I may, through the chair, I'd recommend you. They're kind of two separate things. One is they're applying for this section, so I would recommend you if you support what they're doing. Only if you support what they're doing, send the letter of support, so that that project goes forward, and then send them a separate letter requesting that they include the slumped area and any other areas that you'd like, either in future ones, or see if they can do it. But yeah.
Okay, Director Hall, I see your hand there.
Yeah, are there any other companies reaching out and trying to bid on this work, or is it just them singularly? I know that we provided support letters that kind of bit us in the ass later on for this company. So I wanted to have clarification. If there's others bidding for this work, maybe we should explore and try and find some information out about that.
Through the chair, there's nobody. TELUS isn't interested. They're looking more towards satellite communications. So they're not putting in any more hardware, is by the sounds of it. So it feels like a bit of a, and I don't want the board to feel pigeonholed here, but it feels like a bit of a take it or leave it sort of thing that City West is looking at putting it in, and TELUS is not at all looking outside of maybe a partnership project with the nation, from a conversation I had with them a little while ago, to put in maybe a tower at 4 Mile. They're looking at partnering with, I think they partnered with was ATS Satellites, and they're looking at expanding satellite communications over direct hardware at this time.
Any other questions about this one? So I'm looking for the motion that the letter that's provided there be sent on our behalf to support City West's CRTC broadband fund application. And then we could possibly do a resolution after that to request that City West look into covering the Slump Valley as well. Slump Valley? Slumped? Yeah. The Slumped side. Director Harstead? Is that a
Oh, I just,
motion?
yeah, I was making it, yeah,
Okay.
making the motion.
So I just wonder why we're including Anaheim and all that. It has, which isn't our, area.
Well, I think it's just a letter of support to that they are going to be.
Yeah, so but it's not our area. That's Caribou. So they should be writing their own letter, if they want it or not. Just kind of jumping the boundaries, but whatever.
That is the letter they provided. I asked
Sure.
them for a sample, but and I imagine they will be going to Caribou, but yeah.
Yeah.
So if we do the letter, I would just take that Anaheim Lake and everything out because that has nothing to do with us. And Caribou might have a different plan or whatever,
Right. Okay. So that's an amendment to the motion, I guess, because we have the motion on the table right now. So I need a seconder on the amendment. Seconded by Director Northeast, and all in favor of the amendment?
Aye.
Great. And then do we do a vote on the motion as amended? Yes. So I'm looking for for a mover for the motion as amended.
I'll move.
Moved by Director Hall, seconded by Director Emery. All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Oh, look at us. So good. Okay. Anything else on correspondence there? Okay, so next is I'm looking for a motion to close the meeting for the purpose of considering information received and held in confidence relating to negotiations between the region and a First Nation or prescribed Indigenous entity, or between a First Nation or prescribed Indigenous entity and a third party. I think I saw some hands, but I was reading. Moved by Director Emery and a seconder, seconded by Director Harstead. All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Okay.